it's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today. Chaos and the narcissist or psychopath, particularly the female narcissist, the cruel psychopath, again the spectrum of a personality disordered person. Not someone who's just overly caring, overly nurturing, you know, a helicopter mom, a helicopter girlfriend, someone who's always, you know, trying to be close to you or clingy. We're talking about the true personality disordered person, the female psychopath, the female narcissist, really to a higher degree or level, who has a pronounced influence in your life and has a pronounced disruption. What is it about their target? What is it about their strategy? What is it about the feeling or environment or culture that they create for their target or their eventual victim? Now, keep in mind that the narcissist or the female psychopath, I'm going to use it from the female perspective here, they're going to target someone who is essentially a threat to them, a threat to their power, a threat to their status, a threat to their position, a threat to them receiving exclusive attention. So they're going to become extremely agitated or intimidated by this presence. Okay, even though this presence hasn't really proved themselves to be a threat, this person hasn't really done anything to warrant that treatment or that behavior, or hasn't really positioned themselves as an object of threat or intimidation. It is the perception, the over-perception of the female narcissist, the female psychopath, that this person could be a potential obstruct or potential barrier to them receiving the kind of attention which they so deeply need. They so deeply become fueled by in their life. It's almost like their life purpose. They feel almost a lack of being able to complete their life purpose when this person is around. So they have this unquenchable desire to detach from this person or work to their detachment. And we're going to see here in a little bit of a moment how they create a chaos. It causes almost a life or death sort of chaotic energy to the way that they treat this person. They target this person and get them basically to become disconnected from their own source of communication. So they're going to keep intact certain areas of strength within this person, because that's eventually what's going to be the response. The person, the target, is going to have a very strong intellectual response. They're also going to have a very strong grounded response, meaning the sexual energy, that kind of innate primal life force is still going to be very much intact within the victim or the target, as well as the intellectual kind of like, I know something is not right, you know, all those processes are going to remain strong, but everything within, including the heart, their communication ability, and really kind of the self-esteem centers of that person are going to be disrupted and kind of blown out. Blown out meaning rendered ineffective or dismantled to the point where that person is no longer in touch with what they need. They're no longer able to communicate. They're no longer to kind of stick up for their needs. And they're going to be essentially severed from those, yet certain centers or certain abilities are still going to be like overly activated, and it's going to, you know, in that person that kind of keeps them quote unquote staying for a little bit. However, those centers are not enough to keep, you know, that person alive and functioning. It then creates a lack of the chaos. I'm going to go into a little bit more of the chaos that the female narcissist or psychopath creates, and we're going to look at the result. So the chaos that the female narcissist or psychopath creates has very much to do on a number of different levels. Chaos meaning nothing is in order. Okay, there's things aren't acknowledged and worked through in a sequential, logical basis. There's a very strong negative emotion. It's not presented or positioned as a negative emotion from the female psychopath or the narcissist. In fact, the female psychopath is very much going to position themselves as miraculous, almost the untouchable, close to God, close to perfection, so practical, so magnanimous sort of personality, so untouchable, so exquisite, extremely detail-oriented, that you can never really attain their level of perfection. You can never really attain their level of detail, and so you can never really connect with them because they are so highly energized in this ability. Traditionally in the female psychopath, we see not only an excessive amount of energy, sexual energy, which doesn't always mean, sexual conquest, although it can, but just that energy can be transmuted and transposed into various other mechanisms, be it their success in business, their ability to become part of many different organizations, their ability to, superficially connect with a lot of people, but it's not a true connection. It's more for a supply source. And this chaos is kind of like a mayhem. In other words, there's always a crisis going on with the female narcissist or psychopath. You're never really at a sense of contentment, containment, peace, love, harmony. It's very much a one-way feeling, and it's a chaotic energy, but yet there's a twinge of positivity that keeps you connected. The twinge of positivity is that initial allure. In other words, there's something you have to be with them. I mean, either by force or by choice, you feel this compulsion that they position to you by the way that they communicate. In other words, I quote-unquote possess information that you need. I possess information that you want. I am the miracle person. I am the I am what you have been missing, is basically what they are communicating. They are communicating that missing spark that you feel like you've been needing that would set you free. I am that mix of beauty and emotion and lust and love and permanence and aesthetically dynamic that is perfection in a moment that you have been looking for. They position themselves this way. Again, this is a mask, but their mask is so tight, is so polished, is so impenetrable oftentimes, is so infallible, is so unblemished that we just sit back and feel like we're in the presence of something divine or something out of this world. What else do they present as? The female narcissist will present as almost the Mother Teresa, can do no wrong. Okay. Now, Mother Teresa led her life out of pure sacrifice. Okay. Towards, awakening a higher consciousness. Now, the female narcissist will portend that or present that. When it's in essence, again, when we talk about the narcissist or psychopath, we're talking about the mask, and then underneath what is really so. So they will create this chaos, being that nothing is ever good enough. They're constantly on the go, constantly moving forward. Yet there's all these, sprinkles of positivity in there. And what ends up happening is this chaos, or this positioning of, like, let's just call it the wow factor. I'm so close to the miraculous, I have all this energy. We'll expand on this later. But what ends up happening is it tends to annihilate their target or victim, so that they lose their ability to connect with their own needs truly, because they're being seduced. They're being seduced by this mask, okay? And you momentarily isolate from or disconnect from your own needs, and you're doing this in a very self-sacrificing manner. But really what ends up happening is you're disconnected from your sense of personal responsibility. The constant agitation will do this, but the fact that you're not given a connection, a two-way reciprocity, so your voice never really gets heard or acknowledged, but then that slowly starts to corrode and become eroded away, and it's basically a sense of there becomes an internal death. I liken it to an internal death where you disconnect, you eventually become disconnected from that life source, which is your needs, your voice, your back and forth, your harmony, and your peace and contentment, which is love. Okay? And then becomes, that feeling of, being, since you become disconnected with this, you begin to feel disconnected with reality. And you then begin to operate on almost like the reserve or the battery generator, which is, again, if you think about a generator for a building, you're trying to, be the energy of a 50,000 square foot building, and you're running on a generator. The generator is working on overtime and is exhausting itself to generate and, continue all the electric needs. The similar thing happens in the mind, or in the energy of the target or victim. So they eventually begin to feel that exhaustion or like loss of contact with reality because they're being disconnected. You're so unacknowledged, you're so ignored, you're so mistreated in these different energetic ways that you begin to lose almost like a sense of loss of reality or a loss of yourself. You almost feel like it's a death of yourself, but it's just really from being around them. It's not true or what's reality. And you then live to only protect, take care of them, and so you begin to live in this forgetfulness, perpetual state of forgetfulness of your own self, your own needs, your own talents and abilities. And then, you go on to eventually, a lot of targets then want to go and lose everything, for this person. It's almost like a state of hypnosis where they just abandon themselves. But if you've exposed them, now you're in the recovery, and you're now reclaiming yourself, which is an awesome place to be, and getting back in touch with your needs. So that is a great place, no matter how small you start. You're recovering your own needs, and that's where you need to stay and be for your healing to improve, begin, advance, and eventually triumph. So I hope this video helps more definitely on this topic in future videos. Please share for people who need this information, this healing, support, and discussion. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussion. So remember, it's your needs that really matter. It's your needs that need attending to. Be strong, and let's continue on some future videos. Have a beautiful day.